Today I want to talk about horror films and why I mostly like horror films and what really um, lent me to buy a lot of films, horror films and all that. My collection's not humongous horror genre and all that, but I have a good selection of amazing films in my opinion. Some I own that are not as great as certain films. But since I was a kid and all that, I always loved watching, let's say, full moon films, like I didn't really watch Puppet Master. I mostly watched, what's the name? I can't remember the name of the film. It's a vampire film, and it comes from Full Moon. I have the name. Frustrating. Subspecies. Yeah, Subspecies. I do own a trilogy of it, all that on DVD. It's been many, many years since I've seen it. I remember renting a lot of those films and a lot of other like video, Videodrome, video something. It's not really that great of a film, but it's decent. Not the best. It's not video game, video arcade or something like that. Back in the day, Full Moon actually had some great films. These days, it's pretty much low budget, crappy style films. Ginger Dead Man is pretty good. The sequels are not as good. Killjoy, the first one is good. The second one is decent, and third one is like I don't know. I don't really care for it. But the first Killjoy was in my opinion, I think the best out of the trilogy and all that. Some trauma films. A lot of films I'd like to see in trauma. There are certain films that are not horror, like Sergeant Kabuki Man. It's not really considered horror. There's nothing really scary about it. Just some a police officer like in a kabuki costume and all that fighting crime. But yeah, it's not really that scary. One I always wanted to see was Trauma's War. Probably out of all the trauma films that I've seen in my life, probably Romeo and Juliet is in my top three favorite trauma films ever. My first one would have to be probably Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, and probably the original Toxic Avenger. That film is awesome, gory, and a lot of awesome, real amazing special effects and all that. And not really that high tech and all that, but it actually works for that film. So I really don't like Hollywood films, mostly because okay, they're good, but they have no imagination. They have nothing else to bring on the table. And a lot of the films recently that I've seen, I don't know, was it trailers or probably that I've seen come out, really, they're all the same. There's, let's say, a zombie genre phenomenon right now, and everybody's gonna fucking do a zombie, either a video game, a TV series, or movie, or just anything, anything zombie. But I like the werewolf, the mummy, the Invisible Man. Uh, these main three characters and all that were in the original Universal monster lineup and all that barely get any recognition these days. Just like Dracula. I've never actually seen any of the Universal monster films. I'd like to get them, but the damn set is so expensive right now. I think it's like $100 some bucks. So I have to go take a trip about a month from now, so I have to save my money, save my pennies. Not my pennies, there's no more pennies in Canada, but my nickels and dimes. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I need to watch on Netflix. There's actually one that I've always wanted to see because a certain YouTuber, what was his name again? I'm not really that great to remember YouTube names. Anyways, he's one of the many horror fans that reviews a lot of horror films, that just shows his passion for horror and all that, his passion for like a lot of indie films, really truly indie films and all that. But yeah, I'm going to show you a couple films that why mostly I like 80s and early 90s films, because it's not the most imaginative films ever made, but they're really awesome. The first one is an um, uh, Italian film, Demons and Demons 2, directed by no, what the hell am I saying? Lamberto Bava. This one and Suspiria, and many of these like cases that I own. A lot of these movies are awesome. They're great. The atmosphere, even the music. The music is so spectacular. Like the sound effects and the music just really click well together and everything. The makeup is awesome. It's disgusting. It's really, you don't see blood and guts everywhere, but it's still disgusting and all that. And this is what really, in my opinion, is missing. Is today it has to be blood, guts, and disgusting and everything. You can make a movie. We can make like tons of movies and not have blood and guts. You can have a disgusting monster shredding people to little pieces and all that. We can have a little blood, but not buckets full of blood. But yeah, we've been, in my opinion, conditioned to love a lot of this shit, blood and guts and everything. What other films can I actually? There's so many films. Nothing really comes to mind right now. That I'm pretty. I'm pretty. Pretty much I have a brain fart right now. So when I'm trying to make a video, it does not want to come out. Another one like this, The Stuff, Larry Cohen movie. Love this film. Pretty sure there's a lot of YouTubers out there that reviewed that film. The next one is a pretty gross film, Street Trash. It's mostly about a new alcohol that little alcohol store, little convenience store and all that. A guy finds one day hidden somewhere in the walls in the store, and sells it to a lot of the bums around, and they start melting and everything. So yeah, probably everybody knows this film, that knows horror films and such. I think I remember, like I was a kid, when I was a kid, I think 1992 this film came out. Yeah, 1992. I think I remember a commercial for this. It took me many, many years to actually find this film, but it's not the most awesomest fucking film ever, but it is the most entertaining film you will ever see. I've never really seen a film like this that about vampires and such. It's gory, gross, and disgusting a lot of the time. but it's really like it's something special to me. And there's not a whole lot of films these days that to me are really special that you can watch every so on once in a while and whatsoever. Okay, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of good horror films, but are you gonna rewatch it a second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, sixth time, and beyond all that? No. But films like this, you're gonna watch it again and again and again and still get entertained. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the Chiodo brothers and all that. I would have wished that they would have done a sequel to this, a really entertaining film from beginning to end. And there's also an audio commentary with the Chiodo brothers and all that. So yeah. And what is really funny about this film is they kill you, but they kill you with cotton candy. So it's funny. And my top 10 favorite horror films of all time, Night of the Demons. I do have this person, Kevin Tenay, on Facebook. So he actually directed Brain Dead. Yeah, Brain Dead, and Pinocchio's Revenge, and I could be wrong. Did he direct Pinocchio's Revenge? I could be wrong. But yeah, and what other ones? Oh yeah, Witchboard. That one I don't own on any format. So yeah. Video Violence, a Camp motion picture release. This was released in 1987. Yeah. This really shows what the 80s were all about. There was no law, there was nothing that could stop you from making hundreds of these crappy movies, but they were entertaining, in my opinion. They're crappy movies, but they were entertaining. There's not a whole lot of films from back in the 80s that got a DVD release, or if they did, they're gonna get like a DVD-R release and such, because there's really like a big market right now for VHS and everything. So yeah, it's really starting to to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, that's pretty much why I like horror films. Is I have so much passion for horror since I was a kid. I've watched everything. Like probably one of my favorite, and everybody hates this one, Jason Takes Manhattan. I love Jason Takes Manhattan and Jason Goes to Hell. I would mostly take Jason Takes Manhattan as one of my favorite Friday the 13th film. It's a really bad film, but I don't know why. Just to this day, I just, when I was a kid, I always watched that one. I don't know why, but I still love it to this day. And Darkness the Vampire version is out of print. I do think you can get the one disc version, but I don't know if this 2-disc version is still available. If it is, it must be pretty rare. But anyways, this is for my video. See you later.